With the Super Bowl now behind us, it's time for some reflection on the year that was.
Oh, no.
Stick a fork in the Chiefs.
Oh,
they are done.
There was a little bit of everything here. How about we break down 5 good, 5 bad, and 5 ugly from this unforgettable season? Good, Sam Darnold's redemption. Let's start with arguably the greatest comeback story in NFL history. Sam Darnold. Yes, that Sam Darnold of New York Jets lore is a Super Bowl champion. The former bust, who was written off by the entire league, just won it all with the Seattle Seahawks defeating the Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60. And what made the whole thing even crazier was that this came off the heels of Minnesota letting him walk after he went 14-3 in 2024. Seattle swooped in with a 3-year, $100.5 million contract, and Darnold proved that he was worth every single penny. In 2025, Darnold went 14-3 again, becoming only the second quarterback in NFL history to win 14 games in his first season with 2 different teams. He threw for 4,048 yards, 25 touchdowns, and had the Seahawks atop the standings for almost the entire year. If that ain't one heck of a redemption, then I don't know what is. Bad, Lamar Jackson. Coming into the year, the whispers were everywhere. This was going to be the year that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens finally got over the hump. Or else. Yeah, so as it turns out, it was the or else, as John Harbaugh was shown the door after a disastrous and frustrating 2025 campaign. It started with a hamstring injury that cost him 3 games early in the season, and when Lamar Jackson came back, well, he looked like himself for a stretch there, and then he injured his back against the Patriots in December and was sidelined again. Nevertheless, the Ravens somehow clawed back from a 1-5 start to 8-7. And then, Week 18. Winner take all against the Steelers for the AFC North crown, and Lamar suited up, only to lose and miss the playoffs after rookie kicker Tyler Loop missed a kick with time expiring. Ooh, just a brutal end to a bad year for Lamar & co. Ugly, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes had the worst season of his career, and it ended in the most brutal fashion imaginable. The Chiefs finished 6-11 and missed the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Mahomes had his lowest completion percentage at 62.7, his fewest touchdowns at 22, and his worst passer rating ever. Then came Week 15 against the Chargers. Mahomes dropped back, made an awkward plans, and went down with a torn ACL and LCL, thus marking his season officially over and putting the dynasty on pause. Good, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel took over a Patriots team that went 4-13 in 2024. They were a complete laughingstock. The dynasty was dead. But you know, in year 1, Vrabel went 14-3 and reached the Super Bowl. That is a 10-win improvement, tied for the best single-season turnaround in NFL history. The Patriots went 9-0 on the road, including playoffs, the first team ever to accomplish that feat. You gotta think that the Tennessee Titans are kicking themselves for chasing a coach like Vrabel out of town. Bad, Nick Sirianni's Eagles underachievement. The defending Super Bowl champions had all the talent in the world. They should have been running it back to another title. Instead, the Eagles went 11-6 and lost in the wildcard round to a depleted 49ers in a rather embarrassing fashion. 23-19. Ugly, Indianapolis Colts collapse. Yeah, so here's a cautionary tale about peaking too early and going all in at the wrong time. The Colts started the 2025 season at 7-1. They had the NFL's best record. Daniel Jones was in the MVP conversation and the feel-good story of the year. But then, everything fell apart. Jones decided to play through a fractured fibula. His mobility, which was key to their offensive resurgence, just disappeared. Then in Week 14 against the Jaguars, disaster struck. A non-contact torn Achilles. Keep in mind, this was after they pushed their chips to the table and mortgaged the future to trade for Sauce Gardner. From 7-1 to 8-9 and out of the playoffs. Yikes. Good, Caleb Williams and the Bears breakthrough. Caleb Williams threw for 3,942 yards, a franchise record with 27 touchdowns and just 7 interceptions. The Bears went 11-6 and won the NFC North for the first time in years. Bad, Josh Allen's playoff heartbreak continues. Alright, at what point do we start asking the hard question about Josh Allen? In the 2025 divisional round, Allen and the Bills lost to the Broncos 33-30 in overtime. Allen had 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Now, here's the painful context of it all. There was no Mahomes in the playoffs, no Lamar, no Burrow. Have to wonder what it'll take for him to finally get over the hump. Ugly, the New York Jets' historic futility. They went 3-14, tied for the worst record in the entire league. Point differential of minus 203, the worst since the 2021 Jaguars. But here's the real, truly ugly stat. New York became the first team in NFL history since 1933 to not record a single interception all season. 0. They had just 4 forced turnovers total, the lowest since the merger. Their defense literally could not take the ball away, and that is after bringing in new head coach Aaron Glenn, a defensive-minded guy hired specifically to fix the defense. Fans sat there and watched his unit go from 3rd in the league to 25th and resort to a fire sale trading Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams at the deadline for future picks. Somehow, the Jets found a way to be even more dysfunctional than usual. It's almost impressive, honestly. Good Jackson Smith-Njigba's breakout. Seattle got their franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold, but the real truth is that the offense runs through Jackson Smith-Njigba. ASN led the NFL with 1,793 receiving yards and 119 receptions. He added 10 touchdowns and won Offensive Player of the Year as a unanimous first-team All-Pro, and was a deep threat underneath and coming out of the backfield all year. JSN accounted for 44.1% of the Seahawks receiving yards, breaking Michael Irvin's record of 42.8 for the highest percentage by a receiver on a Super Bowl winning team. Had the Browns quarterback carousel. Remember when the Browns traded 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson and gave him $230 million fully guaranteed? Yeah, how's that working out? Considering the fact that the Browns had to roll out a mishmash of Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders this year, yeah, it doesn't look great. Ugly, Minnesota's massive mistake. Speaking of quarterback disasters that'll haunt franchises for years, the Vikings let Sam Darnold walk after he went 14-3. They committed to J.J. McCarthy, the 2024 first-round pick, because someone in that front office thought that they had their franchise guy. Yeah, how'd that work out? Badly, as it turned out. It worked out horribly. McCarthy struggled massively. 10 games, 1,632 yards, 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 57.6% completion rate. And that was when he was on the field. Good, Myles Garrett's historic season. Even on a 5-12 team going absolutely nowhere, Myles Garrett was dominant. He finished with 23 sacks, breaking the NFL single-season record of 22.5 shared by Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. He got the record breaker against Joe Burrow in the season finale. No shocker that he took home his 2nd Defensive Player of the Year award unanimously. All 50 first-place votes. He had 33 tackles for loss, 2nd most since 2000, 38 QB hits, and 60 total tackles, all career highs. It was a special season. The guy was double-teamed on 186 pass rushes, the most by any edge rusher since 2018, and he still broke the record. Yeah, the Browns absolutely stink, and they have no quarterback, but you know, Myles Garrett is a generational talent who just put up one of the greatest individual seasons in NFL history. Bad, Jaden Daniels' sophomore nightmare. After one of the greatest rookie seasons by a quarterback in recent memory, Jaden Daniels came crashing back to earth in the most painful way possible. He played just 7 games and was shut down for the final 3 weeks of the season. And when he did play, it wasn't that great. Just a 2-5 mark. The Commanders went from NFC Championship game to 5-12, and fired defensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury after the season. Ugly, Pete Carroll and Geno Smith's Vegas disaster. Pete Carroll, 74 years old, came out of retirement to coach the Raiders. He brought in Geno Smith, his former Seahawks quarterback, and hired Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator. They drafted Ashton Jeanty 6th overall, and people were gosh dang excited. He said that they'd win a bunch of games. So about that. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Instead, they went 3-14, the worst record in the NFL. Geno Smith threw a league-high 17 interceptions. He was sacked 55 times, also league-high. The Raiders averaged just 74.9 rushing yards per game, the fewest in the last 25 years. Unsurprisingly, Carroll fired Chip Kelly and special teams coordinator Tom McMahon mid-season. The Raiders lost by double digits 9 times. They were shut out twice. They finished last in total yards, last in rushing, and last in seemingly everything. Carroll was fired after 1 year, likely the end of his legendary coaching career. But hey, which player, coach, or storyline were you most surprised to see on this list? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anything notable that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.